I'm Ryan Milliken from Hardway Performance, and you're listening to the Diesel Power Podcast.
I'm Dimitri Miller with No Zone Diesel.
This is Anthony Range from XDP.
This is Jaron Holder from Holderdown Performance.
I'm Corey Willis from PPEI.
I'm Drew with D&J Precision Machine.
I'm Pinky.
And you're listening to the Diesel Power Podcast.
Diesel Power Podcast.
You're listening to the Diesel Power Podcast.
The Diesel Power Podcast. The one and only Diesel Power Podcast.
We're really excited to have Chase from Kingspeed Race Repair on today's episode. We're going to talk about UCC and what those guys do and the awesome trucks they're building. It's great to have you on, Chase.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
So we got UCC coming up, and it's the talk of the town, so to speak, with all the horsepower and torque and all the great things that the competitors bring to it. And what you guys did last year was crazy as far as how fast you guys were going. What's it like going from that to, building a truck for UCC and going out there and competing?
It's a little change of gears. So, long story short, we were kind of in a limbo for a little bit. Michael will come up a little bit in this conversation. He owns Kingspeed with me, so Michael Cordova and I, we put together my Pro Street truck 4 or 5 years ago, and built it for going 980s, 990s, something like that, and nothing crazy done in Pro Street and we felt like we kind of outgrew that platform and wanted to build. It was one of those things that sold, and then it didn't, and then it sold. It just went back and forth because both of us wanted to make sure it was gone before we started a new build, so we did end up selling the truck and starting over from scratch, and it put us back a couple months. So it's been a lot of late nights so far, but obviously we're into drag racing, so we hope to show what we can do in that part of the challenge. But both of us like to think a little outside the box, so we kind of just look at it as a showcase for what we can do as far as our business and customers and all that stuff. So we're really excited about the challenge.
The old truck, it had a unique transmission setup that I know you hear rumblings about and get questions, from time to time about running a Lenko. And I wanted to ask you guys about that. What kind of benefits, did you guys get from using that transmission in your race truck?
For sure. The old truck actually never had a Lenko in it, so that's a new truck thing. The old truck, I had a 47RH in it that we put together here, manual valve body, really loose converter, the normal for Pro Street, it seems. We love the people that we work with in the 47, 48 industry. We have a great bunch of guys there. Honestly, we got really tired of pulling transmissions at the track and putting converters in at the track, and we're hoping that the Lenko will relieve us a little bit of that on this UCC/new truck build. So it's something where Michael's had a Lenko sitting around for years, and we got a couple more parts rounded up, and it's something that we are willing to explore with, test, and I'm sure there'll be bugs and all that stuff to work out, but just find a different platform. Like I said, I know most everybody that we race with is really tired of working on these automatic transmissions. So.
Yeah, it's like it's come up a few times on the podcast so far, is just how much the motors, I think, have outpaced some of the transmission platforms, where it's like the motors are 2 or 3 steps ahead now, and it's trying to keep up with the transmission side. That's challenging. As far as the motor setup, were you guys going to use a 5.9 or 6.7 base motor?
6.7 base. So the UCC truck will have the same engine that I ran last year in Pro Street. It's a single turbo engine, single S400, 88 millimeter. So that usually kind of blows people's minds. They see 2 hood stacks and think it's got triples and all that stuff, but it's been a single charger truck for pretty much the whole time it's been racing, and that platform has been really good to us, and we've kind of gotten that down to a science, we feel, and we feel we're making enough power to be competitive with it. So with all the other things we're changing in the setup, we decided to keep the engine platform pretty concrete as far as what we know. So it's a sleeve 6.7 roller cam, high volume oil pump, all the goodies that we offer in the engines that we sell to guys that are racing all over the country with. So it's kind of cool to keep it simple and keep it to where if people want to set up like that, they can call us and we'll pallet one up and send it to them. So
that leads into the next part I really wanted to chat with you about is what you guys do there, at Kingspeed. What's your guys' bread and butter there?
For sure, yeah. Michael and I have been racing together for a long time and always into this stuff head over heels. Just couldn't get enough of it, and we decided to kind of take a shot at doing more of the chassis work as far as roll cages, tube chassis stuff, back half builds, and the drag racing oriented type of thing. So we chassis table where we do a bunch of drag racing type chassis, both gas and diesel. We're in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So it's a racing town. A lot of car customers that want to go fast. It doesn't matter if it's gas or diesel to us. We're just into drag racing. So we do a lot of that. We just bought a bunch of engine equipment. So we have a 4-axis CNC that will be landing in 2.5 weeks here. We have a flow bench coming. We have some cylinder head equipment to keep all of our engine builds in-house. As far as right now, we struggle with the growing pains of a business. We're outsourcing some things. Have a whole bunch of relationships that we've used over the years, and it all changes when you go into business. So as far as time frames and quality control, the best way we think to do it is to keep everything we can in-house. So as far as the everyday stuff, we do a lot of repair and maintenance. So we got a couple mechanics we keep on. There's 5 of us full-time here. We do 6-liter head gasket jobs, you name it, as far as normal maintenance and repair. So we're a little bit of a different breed, I think. It's tough on us man-hour-wise to complete race car builds from scratch. So you look at a chassis table and it's bare, and we do the tubing, we hang the panels, we cut the windows, we build the engine, you name it, racing vehicle to the track, we do here. So it wears us out, but it's cool because a lot of our customers want to keep stuff quiet and one shop to where they can drop it off, and before they know it, it's done and at the track, and it's something that I feel isn't really available anywhere else. So
it's a unique program because it's hard enough just to put like a turbo kit on and injectors and all that as far as time into it, but to build something from the ground up is on an entirely different level.
Yeah, we struggle, but it's all part of it. So it's just we have a running joke here that everything's on Kingspeed time. So it's the days just fly by. So that's because we stay at it. So
I've had questions come up from time to time as far as with the 6.7 motor itself, and you guys do so much with the motor side of things. And one of the most common questions when these guys start adding power is, when do I need to build the motor? Do billet rods and balance it and go through the whole setup. What's the kind of the breaking point on the power side where you guys say we need to invest in a built motor?
For sure, yeah. It depends on a 5.9 or 6.7. So we usually push 5.9s a little further. A gentleman that purchased my first street truck actually is having us put it back together. I sold it as a roller, and he wants us to do an engine for it, and he's wanting to have a stock bottom end 5.9, and we're comfortable with pushing with making that truck. He's wanting to race at 1050 index, so it should be in the 850 to 900 horsepower range, and I'm comfortable with that. If you're okay with kind of living on the edge, the 1100 horsepower probably acceptable, but on a 6.7, we usually like to put in them at about 800. So single charger, compounds, the way you want your power delivered to. So there's variables to it all. It just depends on how they're wanting it to drive, all those things. But it's usually around that 800 and up to be safe, I would say, is a good answer.
The other question I got was about the cranks on the 6.7s. Does the stock crank hold up pretty well, or have you guys found the limit, of when that's the weak point now?
Yeah, it's held up fantastic for us. So being that we're single turbo guys in my setup. Mike isn't essentially a single turbo guy. We have those back and forth together, but I've kept everything single charger, kept torque out of it. And I think like anything else, torque is what really kills them. So on our high compression single charger engines, we haven't really seen the engine blocks or the cranks being a weak link yet. So I'm sure we'll find it eventually. Just I think if you keep enough torque out of them, they'll live for a long time, in my opinion.
And I think what you guys do, especially with the setup you have, is sometimes people say, or on the forums you'll read, as far as keeping the torque out of them, and it has this opinion or this thought that, well, if you do that, they're not going to go fast. But you guys have shown that you can go extremely fast, and do that.
It was cool. Michael and I were actually sitting down the other day, working out some nitrous stuff for some other projects we have in the shop, and we've never ran my truck fuel only. We've just ran it without a couple nitrous, and it went like 6 O's at like 120, right a half a second, and 15 miles an hour in the eighth. So we got to calculating some more. I think we are really close to spraying almost 1,000 horsepower and nitrous in my truck. So that's a cool little fact. So
do the 6.7 pistons, the stock pistons, hold up pretty well, even with a motor build or in a competition setup? Or what have you guys found as far as the longevity of those?
Usually anything we do, we put a billet piston in, usually on the competition side of things. So I'm a big fan of sleeving the 6.7s down and getting some more cylinder wall in them. I've broken several blocks around the 1,100 to 1,200 horsepower range. A lot of guys, it's a hit or miss thing, A lot of guys have. Some guys have pushed them past that, but as far as what we do, we sleeve it down to a 4060 bore, which is actually a little bit smaller cubic inch than the talked about 6.4 that everybody likes. So we just do that because we're not in an inducer limited class where I feel like every cubic inch doesn't really matter like some of the inducer limited classes. So I would rather have more cylinder wall meat than cubic inch for what I'm wanting to do with my stuff. So that all can be changed though as far as the new stuff coming out, and I've seen a lot of solid blocks come out, and we hope to be building our own engine block here within the next year with our recent purchases. So we'll start playing with some big cubic inch stuff and all that. But the 6.7 pistons in stock form, I personally have seen 1,200 horse in a competition vehicle with them. When you get serious about it, I definitely recommend going to a billet piston and our own designs that Diamond makes with us, and they've been great as far as listening to us on what we want, and they've recently came out with a forged piston with a steel insert for the street guys. So they've been really good to work with.
As far as your fans out there and people that just love to see trucks go fast, where's the best place to see what you guys are doing, and as you start rolling out some of these new products and engine parts?
Yeah, for sure. Try to stay up to date as possible on our Facebook page. We have a Facebook page, Instagram page. During race season, it's always hectic, and the winter time is when all the cool stuff happens, and a lot of that people don't really want showed off. So I think the best place to keep up with us is at the track and on Facebook, and we always encourage visitors if you're ever swinging by Bowling Green to stop by. So we're less than a mile off I-65 in Bowling Green, so really easy to get to. And we've got a website with some e-commerce we've been working on as far as ways to get stuff or get in touch with us, or apparel that's easier than calling or emailing. So we know that, and just trying to so many hours in a day, so just that should be close to being done. And as far as anything else, we travel the ODSS series, so we're hoping this year to do a little bit more outside of that if time allows. But that's the one place you can definitely find us. So
find you guys at the racetrack.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. We're looking forward to see what you guys put together and bring. You said it was awesome just seeing what you guys did last year and the speed you guys were going, and I know that this competition it's gonna be tight.
Lots of cool stuff in the works, and it's definitely gonna be a fun challenge and a fun year for sure.